sharing, but we'll give it a couple minutes here so we can get a quorum. All right, looks like we have a quorum. We'll go ahead and now call this meeting to order, meeting of the joint meeting for the Rules and Open Government Committee and Committee of the Whole. If we can do a roll call first.
Arenas?
Here.
Cohen?
Here.
Davis?
Here.
Peralez?
Here.
And Jones is absent. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Take us to our first meeting, or excuse me, first item on the agenda, and it is item A1, the review of the final agenda for March 22nd. And we have an ad sheet as well on that. Go ahead and bring it up on the screen. We have we got pages 1 and 2, we got 3 and 4, and now we're down to 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10 and 11 and 12 and 13 and 14 and 15 and then 16 and 17 and 18. That's the bulk of it. And we do have an ad sheet, if we can display the ad sheet. Okay. Now we'll go to members of the public for a comment. And
Blair Beekman?
thank you.
Hi, Blair Beekman here. Thanks for the meeting today. I guess to first start off, you have item 2.12, Transportation Fund for Clean Air Grant Funding Agreement, 2021-22. Good luck how that can work. Tessa should be very interested in that item. 3.3 is about campaign finance regulations and the public financing of foreign influence in our future elections in this area. This is an issue we've been bringing up. For as important as it is and meaningful it is, I hope we also can have the perspective to be considering, as we're trying to learn better practices in this country, how we don't do that same sort of influence in other countries. It works both ways. As we learn in this country, we learn to not do that in other countries as well. You know, influencing election process. Good luck how to work on that as an international process, not just for this country. I wanted to speak, there is items coming up of eviction moratorium stuff will be next week. Good luck how we can extend that in this era of COVID. There's a lot of cases going on in China of COVID still, so mask use should probably be really important for ourselves through March and April, at least it seems. Good luck how to work on it. There's a smoke-free issue in our apartment buildings next week. That's a questionable issue. I don't think I'm trusting this issue, but good luck how we can talk about its importance. And that leaves housing issues, and good luck in all the future housing issues and size of retrofitting that I think has been a really important concept. People like Jackie Morales has talked about the future of retrofitting. Retrofitting can be a good practice for ourselves, that for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Blair. And I wanted to just describe the item so everybody is aware. So this is comment on the final agenda for March 22nd. And I see people have already utilized the raise hand feature. If you're calling in, you can press *9 and then you'll press *6 to unmute. And you will have 2 minutes to speak on this item. And next up, we have Vanessa Marvin.
Hello, good afternoon, members of the Rules Committee. My name is Vanessa Marvin, and I'm a District 6 resident living with my family, including 2 small children in a multi-using housing complex. I'm also the co-chair of our Tobacco-Free Coalition in Santa Clara County. And our coalition has been working for many years to get that ordinance on smoke-free housing and multi-unit housing to your council. So you'd think we'd be thrilled to be so close to the finish line. However, we now oppose the draft ordinance that's on your agenda for March 22nd. Due to the cannabis smoke exemption, and we're asking you to defer it or delay it. Those living in multi-unit housing are our most vulnerable residents, our low income, children, the elderly, disabled, communities of color. They're also the populations that are most vulnerable to the harms of secondhand smoke and deserve our protection. However, we believe the ordinance in front of you guys on Tuesday will no longer protect them, and we'd like more time to discuss it with you. The survey results from your own city staff reveal the extent of the problem. Almost 40% of the respondents to your city survey reported being exposed to marijuana smoke in the past 30 days. And so while passing a law only regulating tobacco smoke may seem like a common sense way to make progress on the issue, we actually feel the opposite. This policy will be worse than the status quo. Enforcement will be impossible. Every potential violator will simply claim to be smoking cannabis. This just guts the tobacco portion of the law, leaving it ineffective and meaningless. So again, we're asking you to take it off the agenda for next Tuesday and delay the ordinance. We'll be speaking, our coalition partners and residents that we work with will be opposing this ordinance as proposed. We'd rather spend more time to work together to protect all residents from to all types of dangerous secondhand smoke in their homes. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up will be Margot, I believe, Seidner.
Thank you. Thank you, Rules Committee, for the opportunity to speak. I'm the CEO of Breathe California of the Bay Area, Golden Gate, and Central Coast. Our organization was founded over 100 years ago in San Jose and has been serving our community since then with programming to fight lung disease and promote lung health. We are in a similar situation with our Tobacco Control Coalition that we oppose this ordinance for multi-unit housing. And I echo all of those sentiments that Vanessa just spoke. We can't believe that we're here opposing something that we were so excited to get started, but it has been transformed into something that would be unenforceable and would actually harm the majority of San Jose residents. We believe that because smoke is smoke is smoke, this would be totally unenforceable. There is no way that you can exempt one kind of smoke and have another smoke be perfectly fine. What would really happen is that you would be exempting all smoke. And you also would be putting the landlords in the center of this, trying to make a decision about what was what with the 2 people that were unhappy in their buildings. So for all those reasons and those that Vanessa said, we strongly oppose this and ask you to take it off the agenda for next week. Thank you.
Thank you. And next up will be Jen Grand Lejano.
Good afternoon, council members. My name is Jen Granlahano. I'm with American Cancer Society Cancer Action Network. And we ask that you remove item 7.1, the smoke-free housing ordinance, from the city council agenda. This ordinance does not support best practice in smoke-free housing policy because it exempts smoking and vaping of cannabis. Like others have said, smoke is smoke and no product should be exempted. And for this reason, the American Cancer Society Cancer Action Network opposes this ordinance as written. This issue was first prioritized by the city in 2017, and it's taken us 5 years to get to this point. So we'd hate to see 5 years of effort go to waste by adopting a subpar policy that would set a dangerous precedent in the area and bypass the intent of the council by continuing to allow dangerous secondhand smoke. Please remove this from the city council agenda and return it to committee where we can continue to work on it and come to a better ordinance with no exemptions for cannabis that would actually protect public health. The ordinance with the current exemptions, like Margot said, is impossible to enforce. It's near impossible to determine what products are being smoked or vaped. So if one product is exempted, by default, all products are exempted. So what's the point in adopting an ordinance that can't be enforced? We understand there's concern about rights to smoke cannabis, but the right for people to have clean air where they live takes priority. There's no way to keep smoky air from seeping through shared walls and ventilation systems. Elderly and children are most likely to spend most time at home. And now when many are working from home, so many more people will be exposed to secondhand smoke and deserve to be protected. We would hate to have to oppose an ordinance that was so close to doing what was intended to protect public health. Again, please remove the ordinance from the city council's agenda so we can continue to work on it in committee and remove the exemptions for cannabis. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up will be Carol Baker.
Good afternoon. Thank you for hearing us. I'm Carol Baker, the co-chair, along with Vanessa Marvin of the Tobacco Free Coalition of Santa Clara County. Most of what I'm going to want to say has already been said, so I will just say I expected this ordinance to be stopped here at the Rules Committee because certainly one of the rules is that an ordinance has to be enforceable. There is no way that this ordinance can be enforced. So therefore we oppose an unenforceable ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is James Murphy.
Thank you, members of the committee. I too am requesting that the proposed smoke-free housing ordinance be removed from the agenda next week. I am a 34-year resident of San Jose. I'm currently in District 10 and a two-time cancer survivor. The only comment I would add, in addition to my colleagues that have just spoken, is if COVID taught us one thing, it had to do with health equity. It shined a bright light on it. And again, people who may not have the economic means to live in a single family home or in an environment where they control their air, this is a form of disparity. So those that are in some form of housing where they become subject to the smoke of a neighbor is not a healthy environment, nor is it within what they may wish to inhale. So similar, again, next week, please do not put this on the agenda. Please return it to committee so that additional work can be done. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up will be call-in user 1.
Of course you guys don't want, of course you want people to be able to smoke pot because you people make money off of it. You have all the taxes coming in from it, but oh no, tobacco bad, flavored tobacco worse. Don't smoke a cigar, but marijuana, that's okay. That's okay for pot seller Foley and pot seller Peralta. They love all those taxes. They think they're going to get rich off of it somehow. You should leave it up to the individual owners whether they should allow smoking or not. What are you going to do? Call SJPD when someone lights up a cigarette? But it's okay. It's okay if somebody lights up a joint. That's wrong. That's discriminatory to cigarette smokers and vapors. How about that? And once again, how are you going to enforce it? Call San Jose pot dealers. They'll come on down and make sure that the smoker gets a fine. That's for sure. But if the guy hasn't lit up a joint, that's okay because the SJPD makes money off of it. Right? Don't follow the money. Bottom line is that if a landlord does not allow smoking of any type, their insurance rates will go down. But if you make it legal that they can smoke marijuana, you're actually perpetuating people to break federal law. You're even doing it by accepting the money from the pot tax. I wish the federal government would investigate you guys if you ever take a financial transaction through a banking system. But you guys, it's all cash money. I've always wondered where that windowless office is that's got a high security lock and a guard protecting all that illegal tax money that you people get. You should all be ashamed of yourselves down there at City Hall. A bunch of potheads, a bunch of pot smoking potheads, you people who are trying to make an extra nickel off of some tax and prohibit people from other things that are taxed because you don't get enough tax. If you don't have that much money from tobacco tax or vaping, you guys would be doing spread eagle to let people smoke, but you're not getting that fat tax.
Thank you. Next up will be Brian Darby.
Thank you. Interesting. There are other ways. I have to agree with the secondhand smoke. There are the edibles and you obviously can't, well, you can't, I won't get into that. So people can eat nicotine they want, but there are other delivery modalities for marijuana. So I have to agree with from what I've heard of the sentiment. And I want to thank you guys. You really have to put up with a lot of stuff. My empathies to you. Thank you for your service, all of you. I hope you all have a nice day.
Thank you. And last speaker will be Brianna Serrano.
Good afternoon, council members. My name is Brianna Serrano, and I am a third-year public health major at San Jose State University. Given my area of study, the overall well-being of the population is important to me, which is why I decided to speak and oppose this ordinance as it excludes the smoking and vaping of cannabis. In multi-unit housing, there is an increased susceptibility of secondhand smoke, and studies have shown that the fine particulate matter that results from the combustion of cannabis can be breathed into the lungs. Not only does that irritate the lungs, but it also exacerbates the symptoms for those that already have pre-existing conditions such as asthma. As someone with younger siblings, one which has asthma, I don't think it'd be appropriate to pass an ordinance that allows conditions that would put a vulnerable population at an increased risk of health complications. And I don't think people should have to suffer the consequences for actions that others choose to make. So if we have the opportunity to reduce health risks and implications on our community and promote healthier habits, I believe we should do so. So I would oppose this ordinance and send it back to committee where we can come up with something that is all inclusive, including cannabis. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that concludes our public commenters, and I'll come back to members of the committee. I see Councilmember Cohen.
Yes, and I just discovered that my camera doesn't work, but I think my audio does. So I wanted to at least ask questions. I guess Lee's not here. Angel, you're here today, but it's clear to me that after all the discussions we've had coming back and forth through the committee and through council various times about the smoke-free ordinance, that we're just not getting to a place of consensus on this, and that I think it's imperfect, and I'm not sure how we get it to perfect. And I am at the point where I feel like this is the kind of issue that maybe we ought to postpone, drop. I'm not sure what the right terminology is, because I don't necessarily want to recommend deferring it, because waiting 2 weeks or 4 weeks at this point isn't going to change the lack of consensus that we have or the disagreements over some key issues on it. So if I were to recommend, and we could drop it, obviously, we could postpone it. I don't know if it's right to say we postpone it indefinitely and then, someday somebody could bring it back if they want, or whether we should send it to a discussion at our road mapping process to see whether the council still considers it a priority or not before we bring it to council. Maybe you have input on what that procedure should be.
Yeah, council member. So this, yeah, I would agree. This is one of those tough ones where, achieving, full consensus is probably an impossibility. It has been vetted through NSC, and there was substantive and robust conversation there. It's a tough call. I mean, in some ways, it's keeping it on the agenda and calling the question and kind of, having that conversation at the council level, will kind of put us in a position to kind of make a decision regarding this. At the same time, it's just a tough one. I mean, if we send this back to committee, I'm not so sure we would come back with a different recommendation, right? Or a better compromise. So it really comes down to, what priority we give this as a city.
Yeah, and as a member of NSC, I know that, I was there for the conversation. I know it was robust, and there was the committee did land on a recommendation, not necessarily one I was completely comfortable with, but one that we said, okay, let's move it forward now. I know for a fact that going back to NSC is not going to improve it at this point. I'm sympathetic to a lot of the viewpoints of, that I've heard on this call today about doing something that isn't necessarily going to be either enforceable or sending the message that was the purpose behind this. I know San Francisco gave up on theirs and dropped it, or maybe I'm not sure whether they dropped it or just had it lose in a vote at their actual board of supervisors meeting, but they didn't end up approving it. So I'm not going to make a motion yet for the meeting. I see another hand up. I'd like to hear what others on the Rules Committee think about the next step, but my preference would be to figure out how to delay it to some future date at which we might build more consensus, but that future date being way off in the future at this point, I think. So I'll leave it at that for now.
Thank you. Councilmember Davis.
Thank you. I was disappointed to hear the comments today. I tend to think we should have this full discussion at the council. I also think that we should move forward with a smoke-free ordinance. The reason I would support keeping the exemption for marijuana is that we still have many medical marijuana users, and they use it for specific reasons. And what I have heard is that dosage with edibles is not as consistent as dosage with the smoked products. So that is the reason for wanting to keep that as an exemption, is that there is still a medical use for marijuana. I do think this is a discussion that we should have at full council at this time, because I know that staff has worked on this item for many years, and I know that we have some advocates here that say that exempting one thing is like exempting all things, but I think we all know that tobacco smoke and marijuana smoke smell very different, and they are very distinctive. I don't think it's impossible to distinguish between the two of them, and I would very much like to do as much as we can do while maintaining the ability for people who have medicinal uses to be able to continue to use marijuana in their home, especially if they're ill. This may be an issue. So I'm going to go ahead and move the agenda with the ad sheet.
Okay, we have a motion. We don't have a second. And at the moment, I'm not going to second, and I'll speak to that now, since I don't see any other hands up. But I appreciate the commentary. I think that what we have here is obviously the reality of the challenges behind policy making. And we had a bit of a discussion yesterday, a little bit on being able to set up some parameters to determine success of the work that we are doing here at the city. And the work that we do is very messy, and obviously it's very responsive to needs in the community, changes in the community, and it has so many different stakeholders and points of view that it, I would say most of the time is very challenging to come to any form of a conclusion that builds consensus amongst all interested parties. And more often than not, we always find disagreement or contention in whatever position or final vote we may take. And this is proving to be no different. I think the main area of concern for me here is that the proponents that asked us to bring forward this smoke-free policy are now asking us not to bring it forward. And I don't think we have anybody else in the community that has been asking or demanding of us that we bring forward this policy. And what we have crafted was, I think, based on feedback we have heard. And I would imagine that those that were asking to exempt cannabis, as I've had some conversations as well with them, would likely be comfortable with us not coming forward with a policy either. If indeed, they're happy with what we have today, they would likely be happy with no policy coming forward either. So I don't see a need to bring forward something that is really not going to please anybody in this case, at least from our community standpoint. The proponents that asked us to bring this forward, those that have advocated for the cannabis users, and I am concerned to hear from Councilmember Cohen, who was on the committee, that it doesn't look like going back to committee is going to, come to any different conclusion. And at the same time, I certainly wouldn't support moving forward with a policy that doesn't look like at this point anybody is happy with out in our community, especially the advocates and proponents that wanted us to bring it forward, even if we feel it may be meaningful or reasonable policy. So my suggestion would be that at the moment we drop the item, and that would allow us to bring it back at a future date, whether it comes to committee or comes back to rules. It would buy time potentially for our advocates to reach out to staff or even council members and have conversations on next steps. But I don't see a need to move it forward at the moment. And Councilmember Cohen, go ahead.
Well, given your input on it, then I'll make a substitute motion to approve the agenda with the ad sheet, but drop, I guess the word we use, drop the item, was it 6.7.1? 7.1 from the agenda next week.
Okay, we have a motion on that. I'll second. Okay, and I don't see any other hands up. So we will go ahead now and take a roll call vote.
Arenas,
Yes.
Cohen,
Aye.
Davis,
No.
Peralez.
Yes.
Motion passes 3-1.
Okay, thank you very much. That'll now take us, excuse me as I get back to the agenda here. All right. Takes us to item A2, the review of the draft agenda for March 29th. All right. We'll open this up, page 1, 2, let's see here, 3 and 4 and 5. And 6. And 7. And 8. And 9. And 10. 11. 12. 13. 14. And 15. Okay. There's no ad sheet here, so we'll go over to members of the public. And just as a reminder, oh, sorry, my screen over there. As a reminder, we're speaking on the agenda for Tuesday, March 29th. And first up, we have call-in user 1.
*6 to unmute. Okay, let's move on to the next speaker.
Next up is Blair Beekman.
Hi, Blair Beekman here. Thanks for this agenda. A reminder that you will have an item 8.2 about commercial linkage fees, the future of that item. 8.3 is about a homelessness annual report that, you know, it should be important to be, thanks so much for the memo yesterday to talk about sponsored housing sites in our future. I guess an important question at this time, should those sponsored sites, homeless encampments, should those be city government led or NGO led? Hopefully that can be part of the discussion of this annual report. And a reminder that in the importance of ELI, VLI, and mixed income ideas and how flexible mixed income ideas can be for ourselves. I hope that that's what's considered in the future of any fast tracking of the future of urban villages and how urban villages really need to start planning for ELI, VLI, and mixed income if possible. It's something to really consider. And certainly if you're going to be fast tracking, I don't think you should be fast tracking urban villages, but you know, with you know, future subsidy funding. Subsidies are meant for low-income people, basically, and their needs. To finally conclude, there's items about auditing issues and more budgeting and financing and planning, you know, for the next few months, for the previous few months, and the next few years. Boy, you know, good luck in these efforts. I've been talking endlessly about this subject, and I will try to always work to be clear how to talk about what to ourselves to expect in the next few years. I want to be patient and decent.
Okay, we'll go back to call-in user 1. Give them another try.
Yeah, thanks for the meeting. I just want to see if you guys are going to ever have enough money to do all these things that you want to do. I mean, you guys are going to not only just make this city wonderful, but the world wonderful, right? With all your flag raising and lighting up the rotunda. You need to light up the rotunda in red on March 19th for St. Joseph, you know, the patron saint's name of our city. Why don't you guys do that?
Mr. Sonsini, lighting up the rotunda is not on the agenda for the 29th.
Oh, I know. I just thought I'd get that in there because you guys are always hanging up on me all the time and cutting me short. This is what I do, right? This is what I do.
Okay, if you're not going to be able to be on topic, then we will.
How can you guys pick on me?
We will cut you off if you cannot get back on topic. Okay, thank you. All right. Coming back to members of the committee.
Move approval.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Arenas,
Yes.
Cohen,
Aye.
Davis,
Yes.
Perales.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. That now brings us to our consent agenda. And we'll go to members of the public. And as a reminder, we're speaking on the items that are on consent. There are quite a bit, and there is a couple events, but I don't think any lighting of the rotunda either. So we'll go to Blair.
Hi, Blair Beekman. you are practicing the consent calendar in a slightly different way. It's a more efficient system. Good luck with it. It seems workable for now. If changes need to be made, I hope you can be open to them. So far, so good, it seems. For this item, I would like to, there's a big item here that you're going to be, a study session for TOPA and COPA issues seems to be, it's not going to be happening next week. And you're announcing that here. And I just wanted to make a note of it and light of it that, you know, the COPA and TOPA work is incredibly important for our future. Thank you that you've been having public meetings on its subject matter so we can all learn to grow more familiar with its subject and learn how to talk about it better. Good luck how we can always be open to this subject matter that needs to be open for ourselves. And I think that's about it. I had one more thing to say. I can't remember it now, but so thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you, Blair. Coming back to members of the committee. If we can get a motion to approve consent.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. And I was wrong. There is a rotunda lighting for the Greek Independence Day on consent. And for those that were interested in the study session on COPA, that is likely going to be rescheduled for the fall. Okay, can we get a roll call vote, please?
Arenas,
Yes.
Cohen,
Aye.
Davis,
Yes.
Peralez.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, that takes us to our last item, which is open forum. And this is for members of the community to speak on any item that was not on today's agenda. You'll have 2 minutes, Blair Beekman.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for your words, Councilperson Peralez. I now remember what I wanted to say. As we close the TOPA study session for the end of March, is there any way we're going to still have an equity session to talk about the current state of racial equity in San Jose? It was mentioned at the mayor's, I don't know, debate or whatever it was this past Monday, whatever you want to call it, forum, mayor's forum. And, you know, for as much as I like the term social equity and to use equity, I think we're entering a new era where we really have to acknowledge the importance of racial equity and what we're really striving for at this time and really find ways to make note of that, to note that. So I think a study session for the whole community to understand the future of, you know, racial equity in San Jose, and that there is a baseline services that I think all districts need of racial equity issues. And that's an important concept. And then from that baseline, then we can haggle between each city, between each district, who needs what better, I think. And I think we have a good agreements exactly what exactly is, you know, our racial equity issues, a baseline set of understandings. To conclude, again, a thank you it was a really nice meeting on the budget issues yesterday. That is how I'd like to proceed in talking about budget issues. The mayor's ideas of creating a balanced budget with the combinations of creating a budget based on racial equity ideas that has been talked about before pre-COVID, I think is just the 1-2 of our future and how we can better, much better talk about these issues in our lives. Excuse me, I got a cough. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Blair. Okay, next up will be caller with the last 4 digits of 4963.
Yeah, hi, Martha O'Connell. First of all, Raul, fabulous job on enforcing the code of conduct. So you get 10 stars for this meeting. I would like to address my concerns with what I consider an extremely flawed outreach on the part of environmental services on the existing building electrification plan. A couple of weeks ago, a caller called in and said that she felt her voice was being drowned as a citizen by the nonprofits. And I totally agree. There is far too much outreach to the same nonprofits. Whatever the issue is, it's the same folks. Okay, I'm looking at the frequently asked questions from environmental services. community-based organization, labor organization, environmental organizations. I will tell you that to my knowledge, there is not one single representative from the mobile home park industry, either resident or landlord or park manager, who got any outreach on this issue. This is critically important. It could result in the closure of mobile home parks. It's too long to go into an explanation, but believe me, you're going to be hearing the same message from me as a resident rep and from the park owner and managers who are going to tell you, please don't apply this to the parks because they cannot afford it, and it will close parks, and we don't need to lose affordable housing. So environmental services, your outreach is completely flawed, and I hope you do a lot more outreach on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Martha. And our last public speaker will be call-in user 1. Call-in user 1, you'll have to press *6 to unmute. Okay, let's move on to Jade. Oh, I think, did they unmute? No. Okay, go ahead. Last speaker will be Jade Chow then.
Jade is using an older version of Zoom. I can promote her to panelist to let her speak. And since this is the end of the meeting, I'll go ahead and do that.
Okay, thank you. Jade, we're going to promote you. You'll have to accept that. And now,
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Hi, my name is Jade Chow, and I'm a member of the Tobacco Free Coalition and also a mother of 2 teens. I'm a member of the PTA. I just wanted to say thank you for all of your work to protect our community and our children. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
thank you, Jade. Okay, this meeting, you know what? Sorry. Let's go ahead and give call-in user 1 a second try here. Not working. Okay, thank you. Meeting is adjourned.